So I'm just going to quickly share my view. Okay, please confirm you can hear me. I'm not sure if my sound is all right. Okay, so we're just going to start off like with what we were looking at in the morning, which is UJ. So UJ, we took a buy earlier. So right now I still have the same bias for UJ. Still have the same bias here. So the only thing I want to see would be a retracement into yesterday's high, this area here. And here we also have this order block. So if we can get maybe a retracement with like a W pattern, I can consider a buy. We also have FOMC later on. So I'm thinking, depending with how price action will be looking at that time, we might actually get that push up happening maybe during FOMC. So for now, that's the bias I'm maintaining. So just to explain this, I actually looked at it a little bit deeper yesterday. All right, so if you look on the weekly, you see that price is actually retracing back into this order block here. All right, yeah, so we've got a weekly order block. And on the same area, we have the 13 EMA, we have the 50 EMA. These are dynamic supports. And if you look on this area, this looks like it's a swing buy, right? We have liquidity being taken here, a nice reversal candle, and price is now expanding up. So that's what's giving me the buying bias on UJ. So for now, I'm anticipating price to push up into this gray area here. So if we go to the daily now, to confirm, you will see that we are actually trading above the 13 EMA. We had a push, a retest, and we're looking for a continuation in this area. We are not ruling out that price might actually sell for some reason. That can also happen, and this can become a swing sell, sort of. But what price is showing us at this point in time is a buy. So I've got bullish order flow on UJ, and I'll be looking forward to actually get a nice entry on this one. So like I said earlier, we've got last week's highs here, broken and retested with a W pattern. But again, at the same time, these are also equal lows. Price can still decide to come down and then do this. This is also possible. So this is to just prepare us for whatever happens. If you see price doing what we planned, then we can just trade accordingly. But now based on H1, as you can see, we had a nice pin bar confirming today's bullish bias. So right now, if we can get any form of a retracement, either H1, M15, but especially M15, then I'm looking forward to take a buy. That's my view for UJ, waiting for a buy here. So my main point of interest is yesterday's highs and this order block here. So if we can get something in this area here, I'll advise you guys. If I'm still like following it, I'll advise you if I'm taking an entry. So that's it for UJ. Then what else did we take? We took a German 40 as well. So the reason I decided to take German 40 earlier today is because I realized that price actually did a liquidity sweep just before the New York Open. Excuse me. So this is 2 p.m. GMT plus 2 or 2 p.m. SA time. So I realized that as that New York Open happened or opened, to my left, the liquidity sweep was done already. And I realized that we also had an inside bar right here, right on the 13 EMA, right at the open. So this was just an impulsive sell. based on just understanding price action. So I took this sell and let me show you what it was looking like if I haven't deleted. It was looking like this. Even my risk to rewards, the normal 1:3 was here, but I was just aiming for price to get to yesterday's low here. That was the target. So you can see this was the inside bar right at the New York Open. So I did not even hesitate on this one. That was my reasoning on that setup. So sometimes if you see your setup forming, um, while you're on the charts and everything lines up, you should just take the trade. So right now on German 40, let's see, what do I have? Possibly price is still pushing down. That's my view. I'm still in a sell motion. From today, you can see we're creating lower, lower, lower high, lower, low. So if you can get any lower high in this area, then I can consider continuing with sells. So German 40, we're waiting for a possible retracement a little bit higher into the 13 EMA before we take a possible sell. But if we get a close above the 13 EMA, this could also be a pattern like this. And the bullish move which has been happening might continue. So just be aware of that price action as well if it happens. Then these were the two assets we're looking at for London and what we're anticipating later. So let's start afresh now. Here we've got US 100. I think I already shared this setup if I'm not mistaken. I mentioned I'm anticipating a retracement, although I'm already in this trade, but a safer entry would be price retracing into something. So here I had this order block as a point of interest. Right now, I've got a new order block here. So let me just mark it out for you guys. So as I explained, if you guys have questions, please feel free. This session will be just 40 minutes. Okay, so Nasdaq, why am I buying? Maybe somebody might be asking, why am I buying? If you recall in the morning, I mentioned this is my point of interest, this order block, which was left yesterday. You see this impulsive move here, it did not give us a chance to enter. Those who were with me in yesterday's live trading session, we spoke about this. We were looking for price to either retrace to give us an entry or for a retracement all the way back up. So today we realize that price is actually most likely going to come back into this order block or into that supply zone. Then maybe we can get a potential sell. So the reason I'm buying is because I'm buying that push back into that order block. So maybe when price gets here, we're going to see later. This might be the setup area for FOMC as well. We'll just see what happens. I don't personally trade FOMC. I'm just mentioning it just to keep you guys updated on what might move price. So right now, I do have that buy. And if we can get a retracement, like I said, if we can get a retracement into this area, I can consider another entry, and we can definitely get another 1:3 risk to reward ratio there. So the initial setup is looking like this. Okay, this is my initial setup. And if you also notice, this was our kills on time price action. So 15:30 stock market open, we had a clean liquidity sweep here. These equal lows initially being taken out by this push, then price coming and breaking above this order block and retesting and continuing to push. So what we are looking for right now is a continuation of this move, possibly going back to yesterday's high as well. As you can see, we've got yesterday's high. So this is my setup for US 100. If anybody's got a different view, please let me know so that we can also discuss it. So for now, my current point of interest is this order block on the 3-minute, or otherwise you can just wait for price to retrace back into into the 13 EMA on M15. After that, we are looking for a nameable candle. What we are looking for right now to enter this trade is a nameable candle. So if we can get a pin bar, if we can get a doji, if we can get a bullish engulfing or an inside bar, then that will be a valid point for us to actually enter. If you also notice, we have this order block here. So same point of interest, just see if price can get back in here and give us an entry. If price does not do anything we plan, it means there's no entry. For me personally, there will be no entry. So that's it for US 100. German 40, I believe we spoke about it. We're looking for a potential retracement. Let me just check M15. Or maybe we can stay on M15 because sometimes if there's momentum on the H1, let's see how H1 is going to close as well. If we've got momentum, it means H1 will not retrace all the way back up. We'll simply then look for an entry candle or a confirming candle on M15, then look for an entry on M5 or M3. So we're just paying attention to how German 40 is moving right now. US 30, those who are in the mentorship, I'm sure you had me mention that these are my points of interest for today. So I wasn't really keen on selling because I did not get anything showing me that price actually wants to drop at this very point. So looking for a buy, yeah, we might get a short-term buy. Let's see. Let's see what H1 has got. All right, so H1 is strong bullish. What I want to see for me to actually take a buy here would be price giving me a retracement, maybe giving me a pin bar, on H1. I can consider taking a buy if I see that. I can definitely consider a buy. Also, if you notice, we're still trading within yesterday's range. So for now, I want to mark this particular candle, which is today's open price. Then I also want to mark yesterday's high. So on your charts, you can just mark yesterday's high. And you can also mark yesterday's lows. All right, so these are my three main points of interest. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low, and today's open price area, this gray zone in the middle. So if price gives me something like this, I can consider a buy coming back here. If price breaks out here and gives me an immediate retest, I can consider a sell. So these are just some of the things you just need to take note of. So if you see your price trading within the previous day's range, you just want to mark those outer levels. You want to mark where you started from. Then you just have to wait. If something familiar forms on or near your point of interest, then you can execute a trade. So based on H1 here, the close happened too far. I would love if this close had happened here, and if we had got like a small pin bar here, we could have considered entering this, coming back to these highs. But this close is so far. So I think I'd rather wait for a bit of a deeper retracement if that is to happen, which will also like line up maybe with the 13 EMA. We just see what happens. You can also see this M15 candle here. There's something about it. Right? If you see an old candle, you just also want to mark the high of it and you want to mark the low. I think that was also the stock market open candle. Let's see. Yeah, it was the one. So right now, I would say if I can get an entry to actually go long, I'll consider a buy here. All right. So the high of that M15 candle you see is this red line here, right? And the low is this red line. If as long as we can stay above this area, if we can even come back and bounce off it, then I'll be looking for something like this. So we'll come back, bounce off it, then push up. Soon as we get it close above the 13, you want to locate the order block, mark the order block. But as soon as you get it close above the 13, that's your first entry. Then if you get a break That's the second entry. Then you target yesterday's highs as the take profit. This is just preparing for possible scenarios which can happen. Otherwise, for me here, I cannot take a trade because it's a bit too late, number one. And number two, I'm anticipating that retracement from either H1, M15 or M3. So here, point of interest is this level here. Again, if anybody's got different views, please feel free. And again, as price is pushing up here, if I can say this is equal lows, I need to get a liquidity sweep and a continuation up. Then if we can break up and stay above yesterday's high, that might signal a bullish move, but we'll just see what will be happening. Remember, the points of interest are marked out on the daily. You can also just pick these zones and use them on your side. If you also notice my points of interest, this whole area here looks like it's an order block, like maybe on the weekly time frame or a higher time frame. These 1, 2, 3, 4 candles, that's a whole zone right there. So we might need to exercise extreme patience. So if we find out that price is breaking out here, just know that we might come up here. We might get back up here before maybe the sales continue, but we'll just see. We might get a reaction here and continue the drop as well, or we might get a reaction here. The only thing we can do for now is pay attention to H1. Let's see if we can get an entry to actually take a buy. Also, if you notice from last week, Thursday, this looks like it's a peak formation low. So level 1 rise, level 2 rise. We might get like a level 3 rise right here coming back all the way to this area. That's why we actually want to try and locate a buy entry. Then if we break yesterday's high and stay above, we can look for a continuation. That's just a possible play based on the current market price. So on this chart, I'm going to leave it on the H1 so that we can just continue stalking. Bitcoin, my point of interest is again this red line on top, as you can see. Nothing solid at the moment. The past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, there is no direction here. So patiently waiting, nothing solid. Let me throw it on the end. Then gold. Gold, I'm actually tempted to say this. It looks like it wants to sell. It looks like it wants to sell. If you look at this H1 market structure, you will notice that from these equal highs, we had this liquidity sweep and we came back and closed below this zone. The fact that we came back and closed below makes me believe that price wants to still continue pushing down. Since again, we've set the all-time highs, price might retrace a bit. We also had price coming and retesting that same level. That's a level from yesterday. And if you run your fib from today's high to today's lows, you see that we got a reaction slightly above 61.8. I think that's level 70.5. You can just cross-check for those who understand the Fibonacci. So it means we might still get it pushed down. Most likely, right now we are coming down to the 50 EMA. Most likely. But I'm not too confident with this sell though. I'm not too confident. But again, if something shows me that the sell is solid, I will take it on the basis that price is actually retracing off this impulsive move. Get a retracement, then maybe a continuation. TDI is also trading above the 50. So that also shows me that we're still in that bullish momentum. So if we do get a sell, it's a short-term retracement for the higher time frame, and we shouldn't hold it for long. For now, I'll say that's my view. I don't know, gold traders, is there any gold trader in here? Please share your views. Let me know what you think about gold. We also have this solid order block here. So it's too big as well, right here. So they might trap right in that area. Just know that if they start trapping, it's because of this order block here. So we might want to wait for price to get back out on either side before we even consider taking any trades. But it will all depend with how price will be moving. It will all depend. So this one is not really something which I would actively stoke. UJ is giving us that retracement. So let's see if it's going to hold, or maybe they might decide to do something else. So the only thing I plan for on UJ is a buy. If no buy happens at this point in time, I'm not ready for any sells. So I'll just wait a bit and see what price action will be doing. I just check what's happening with US 30. Sorry, with US 100. Let's see even US 30. Nah, nothing there. Nothing here. So personally, I'm actively stalking US 100 because I already have a running trade there. US oil, I mentioned, just mark the last H1. On US oil, just mark the last H1. Mark this order block here. Just put this line you see, which I've put. We had a 1350 cross. We might get an ID 50 trade for a sell. That is possible. That is actually very possible. Why? Because I have this view here. I've got this view here. So for me, you notice that price has retested this broken order block. It retested it yesterday. And by retesting that same area, we also took out the day before yesterday's liquidity and this day's liquidity as well. And we came back close below the 13. So if we can stay below the 13, then I'm anticipating price to keep dropping all the way to 64,650. We just have to stay below the 13. But then if we get a close today, if we get a close above, then price might still want to come all the way back up to the 50 EMA. So just be careful of that particular price action. But otherwise, if we come to the H1, these are my points of interest. These gray lines you see and this red line. So I want to see how my price action is acting around this area here. The only reason I'm not quick to buy right now is because of this dynamic resistance. We might hit here, then come back inside here. But otherwise, for now, I'll say let's just stay on H1, keep stalking it, and see exactly what they want to do. Then NZD CAD, I'm not going to speak much on this. I'm just stalking it on some swing buy type of price action. You can see my views coming from the weekly. I have no immediate setup on this trade. It's just something which caught my attention yesterday when I was back testing. I realized that this price action could actually come back to, this is last year's highs. So for me, that's a point of interest. You can see we took our liquidity on last year's lows. So the concepts are the same, but I'm just viewing it from a higher time frame. But for me to buy, you can see I've got these points of interest. I've got the 13, I've got the 50. So I would love to see something a bit solid, especially from the daily charts. I would love to see, let's say, for example, price maybe come back and interact with the 13 and give me something like this. You see this pin bar here. After that pin bar, we had a good 3 solid days. Out of those 3 days, we only need to catch 1 or 2 good setups and we are set for the week. So that's the same thing I'm waiting to happen right in that area. Then I think that's it. I don't know if there's any questions, guys. I think that's it for today's session. You guys can also let me know, what are you looking at for New York? Does anyone have any questions? If there's no questions, then thank you so much, guys, for joining. We'll actively keep stalking US 100. What else did I say is immediate? maybe and UJ. I'll just keep following these two assets on my side. The rest, um, maybe an oil. Okay, let me leave these three. I've already got a good trade in the morning, so I'm not really forcing any trades this afternoon. I'm not really forcing any trades. So these are my three assets which I'm watching all the way through to FOMC. I'll just be watching these three. The rest, if something plays out, it will just play out. If you guys are watching something else, you can just share in the WhatsApp community with the others. Right. On UJ, you can also see from the equity market open, there's no entry for anything here on M15. So that's why we're waiting for this retracement to show us whether we are going to continue with this buy. If we do, remember it's a weekly view, so do not be scared to hold. Right, US oil, I'm going to wait for H1 to close. Then after that, maybe I'm going to have a bit of a better view of what they want to do. And yeah, that's it, guys. That's it from me. Thank you so much for joining and making time. Let's catch up tomorrow, same time. If anybody wants the session, I recorded it. If anyone wants it, I'm not going to post this on YouTube. If anyone wants it, I'll share it on Telegram. So just let me know. Apart from that, thank you so much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good trading.